Hey everybody, good morning. It's nice to be here. Thank you, Mayor Mike. I appreciate that introduction from afar. I'm sorry that you can't be with us today, but I want to begin by thanking him for his incredible leadership, one of the great mayors that America and even the world has seen in our time. And of course, yeah, you can do that. He can hear you, you know. And of course, to Johns Hopkins and, you know, to the entire group of folks that actually put this on, and to all the mayors. I'm looking out there to see all my friends. It's great to see all of you. Let me first tell you how happy I am to be here on behalf of the President of the United States. He, as you know, is in Israel, where he went to show his support after the appalling terror attacks. And he's looking forward to hearing from Israel what they need to defend themselves against terrorists and consulting with them on the next step. Also to discuss with them the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the need to minimize casualties. He is, as all of us are, outraged by the hospital explosion that we saw and believes that innocent Palestinians have nothing to do with Hamas, should have access to food and water and medical care, and is developing a plan with Israel so that we will enable humanitarian aid to reach civilians in Gaza in a way that doesn't benefit Hamas. And as Michael said, we will hear from a number of mayors who were going to be with us today, but could not be. Anyway, thank you all for being here today. I look out amongst this crowd and I see folks that actually make it happen. When the president was elected, he had been many, many times to any event that he could be with mayors in it, because he started off as a local elected official. He tells a little story about when he was a United States Senator getting called from one of his constituents to come over because they weren't picking the garbage up, and said, "Senator, I need my garbage picked up." And he said, "Well, why didn't you call the mayor?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't want to go that high." So he understands the work that we do. And he brought that work to the White House. And he believed that if elected president, he would use his power to do three things: restore the soul of our nation, which you have heard him talk about many, many times, which is in an existential crisis and a decision that we all have to make, not only in the United States, but in the world, between authoritarianism and democracy, top-down governance versus bottom-up governance. And he thinks the only way we can do this is to unite the country. And he thinks the way to do that is to do what it is that we do best. See, there are lots of things that we cannot control in this world, things that we have to react to, things that put us in harm's way. But there are things that we can control. And those things that we can control, making ourselves stronger from within, investing in ourselves, and investing in infrastructure that we actually need to live, to breathe, and to work every day, is critically important. And so he got about the business of making sure that we got that done. A lot of people have talked this talk for a very long time. Mayors in this room, you don't even need to raise your hand, don't out yourself. How many conferences and meetings we had about an infrastructure bill? It was going to be an infrastructure week. It was going to be whatever. Well, let me tell you something. This guy got in there, put pedal to metal, made it happen, $1.2 trillion. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to have an infrastructure decade. That's what we're doing right now. $1.2 trillion to rebuild the roads, the bridges, the airports, the ports, the waterways. High-speed internet so that a little girl doesn't need to be sitting in the back of her mama's car outside of McDonald's trying to learn. So that why? Why do we make it so hard? She's the one who's going to find the cure for cancer. She's the one that's going to find the answer to maternal mortality rates. She's the one who's actually going to lead the country, and yet we are starving her for knowledge. And so the president says, why don't we get access to knowledge, because that's the great equalizer to every person in the United States of America, so we can realize the benefits and the genius of all of us being together, because diversity is this nation's greatest strength and our greatest opportunity. Roads, bridges, airports, ports, waterways, high-speed internet, but then clean air and safe water. In the United States of America, in the second decade of the 21st century, we have 2 million people that don't have running sewage systems in their houses. I saw a little girl in the Imperial Valley the other day whose mom and daddy dig dirt and pull alfalfa out, who live in a trailer park that has arsenic in the water that she drinks. I was up in Napakiak Village, way the hell up there in Alaska, not too long ago, in a tribal community that's suffering from the deteriorations of coastal restoration. Clean air and safe water, Superfund sites, brownfield sites. You know what this is? These are people who didn't learn from their mama that they shouldn't clean up what they messed up. That's right. You can say true that because I'm from New Orleans. And so we're going to go clean that up, and you're going to do it in your communities. And then finally, confronting the existential crisis that's before us, which is a clean energy economy, because the climate crisis is killing us as we speak. I'm from the city of New Orleans. I know what a deteriorating coast looks like. The coast in New Orleans disappears at 100 yards every 45 minutes. By the time I leave here today, we're going to lose another football field. We've already lost the size of Delaware. That's happening all over the country with sea level rise, and we're having heat waves, we're having fires, we're having hurricanes, we're having tornadoes, we're having the whole doggone thing, and we have to fight that as well. And so the president asked me to work with all of you, and 2 years in, you can ask us how we're doing. Thank you for asking. We've pushed $300 billion out of the door. We have 38,000 projects coursing across this country. Thank you. In 99 counties in America. I have traveled over 120,000 miles. I have been to over 110 cities, towns, counties, or tribal communities, working with each and every one of you to rebuild the country. Because at the end of the day, this is what I learned helping rebuild the city of New Orleans, that it works when we all come together. You will hear the president say this every time he talks. When we do things together, when we seek and find common ground, there is nothing that we cannot do if we make sure that we don't leave anybody behind. And we will build a country from the bottom up and the middle out that will be so strong we never have to look over our shoulder again and think about going backwards, but only think about going forward. You know what I call that? Building a bridge to the future. And that is what this conference is all about. It's not just a real big bridge, it is a figurative bridge, one that people actually need to get from where we are to a better tomorrow, because we're not going to build the country back the way it was. We're not going back. We're not turning around, like we say in the South. We're going forward, and we're going forward in a way that works for everybody. And that is what the president wants to do. But we cannot do that without a good, strong federal partner, which, ladies and gentlemen, you have in spades right now. As mayors and executives, you have never had a president that cares this much about getting money to the ground and working with cities. But you also need states working well. So the governor's got to be called into communion, as I like to say, on this. But guess else who's got to show up? The people who actually make it happen. Now, I know a little bit about being a mayor. It was the best job I have ever had. Don't tell my boss I just said that. But y'all know what this is like. If you got to go to the grocery store in the morning to get some milk for your kid's cereal, you're going to be about 45, 50 minutes because somebody, mayor's going to grab you. You're going to get your clothes clean. You're going to the ballpark. Somebody's going to grab you and just say, listen, I know that you're really busy, and I know I'm sure you got to take your kids to school, but while I got you, and they do have you, and you know that the immediacy of the things that you say hit the ground right away, so you can hear the reverberation as we speak. There is no other elected job in America that's got that much responsibility and that much proximity to reality than anywhere else, which is why mayors rule the world. And that is why Mike Bloomberg understands that and Joe Biden understands that as well. And so as I leave you today, let me, number one, thank you for all the work that you have done. But let me put a little bit of weight on your shoulders. The world is a difficult place. There's a lot of tough stuff happening. It's not all lollipops and roses. Sometimes it's agony, sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's catastrophic events, and yes, sometimes it's terrorist attacks. And we have to remain in solidarity with our brothers and sisters around the world who suffer from that as well. And so as I end, besides thanking you, let me tell you, don't let the time that you have in peace go to waste. You have a chance, a once-in-a-generation chance, because it hasn't happened in the last 50 years, and it will not happen again, to rebuild this country in a way that makes it really strong so that we don't ever have to look back again. And you, ladies and gentlemen, are the architects of building a bridge to the future. So I'll leave that with you. I hope you feel the weight of that responsibility. I hope you know that you don't have unending numbers of days in office. There are actually 1,460 days in a 4-year term of office. And the day that gun goes off, it does not go back. The Biden administration is in day 1,000 of that, and we count every day, because once you lose that time, it's never coming back. So God bless you all. God bless the United States of America. And what I'd like to say on behalf of the president is, let's get the hell to work. So thank you very much.